very much, they're discussing, well, should we have bike racks? And what should we be doing in the community? And people are reading the blog and giving input onto what they think the community should be doing. Connected communities is a case where connected communities have internet, they use it, and they create it. I think this community in Harmony has done a good job of using it and creating some things. You want to have the affordable broadband service. You want to have a high percentage of residents and people using it. One of the things that happened in a community, remember when the tornadoes went through St. Peter? And what that community did, I believe FEMA was kind of instrumental, saying, we really need to bury the utilities in St. Peter because so much of the utilities was destroyed in the community at that time. They made the choice at that time to go with fiber throughout the community. If we're going to bury it, let's do fiber. And really made a change in that community because then they became more easily accessible and having it available and having some high-speed things. It just makes things available. You can have e-commerce. You can have telemedicine and many other things once you've got high-speed stuff. And local governments can use it as well then, too. I don't know if does your county, can you pay your taxes online? Many of the communities are going that way. One thing I can find out is I can find out what my neighbor's property taxes are as well as my own. So I can see, okay, am I being charged too much for my property tax? Because I can look at that house, and that house, and say, okay, how do I fit in here? And, it gives me more knowledge than what I knew before. And, rural health care can have some issues with it, too. But having leaders that are engaged, making decisions, the politicians need to be aware of this and doing some things as well. So we work with communities on making these decisions. And again, all these curriculums and workbooks are all on the web that actually communities can do it themselves if they don't want to have an educator come down and work with them. Or if the educator isn't available, it's there and it can be done with people working in the community and doing it together. The steps are kind of lined out in there. All these are kind of slides that are from this, and as far as what to do. There are hundreds of slides. I'm just showing you a sample of some of the things that are doing. But if you want to look at it, connectingcommunities.info, and actually it's being used throughout the southern United States, Penn State, and Extension in Minnesota as well. The other things we're doing in communities is basically customer service training on how to work with people of different cultures. Now, that's not only races, but how to do customer service when you've got people of different ages, different medical issues, all these things. Rochester, right now we're doing a big program within Rochester. The goal is we want Good Morning America to come out and recognize Rochester as not only Med City USA, but also Customer Service City USA. Because they get people from all over the world coming to the Mayo Clinic. We want them to recognize this is a great place for customer service. Business retention and expansion programs are when we do an in-depth program with communities and looking at what are the business strengths we've got, what do the business people want, what are the critical issues, listening to them and bringing them solutions. And we're working with community leaders to do the surveys and actually work out some solutions and present it back to the community and get communities to work on it. Winona is in this process right now. Faribault has done this. Owatonna has done this. Albert Lee has done this. These are all things that they're doable. They're learning opportunities. They do work. A lot of communities have festivals. Some are more successful than others. We've actually got people in the tourism center who work with people to look at volunteer management, planning and organization, financial management and sponsorship, and make successful community festivals, not something that die out. How do we keep them going? How do we make them vibrant and successful? And this is one of the things that we were doing up in Lindstrom just a few weeks ago, is community tourism development. We want to see, is the community ready? They said, we want more tourists to be coming to Lindstrom. And we looked at, okay, we worked with the community in one night saying, are you ready for it? Are you sure you're ready for it? Looking at the planning and the organization that's involved. Assessing what potential might be. What the market research might be within that community. How do we market the community? And then doing funding of tourism. How do we keep it going? So these are all things that deal with community vitality, because the answer isn't the same for every community. Sometimes it's retail management, sometimes it's tourism management, sometimes it's customer service management, and sometimes it's how do we get the manufacturers to grow? How do we get our current businesses to expand? And so that's when we look at business retention and expansion. The other thing we do is kind of looking at public finance education. People wonder, why do we have taxes? And they talk about changes. We do this with communities because sometimes they need to explain it better than what they're doing. This isn't probably an economic development strategy for too many communities, but sometimes it's necessary. With that, I thank you for the time, and I'm willing to take any questions that maybe you have on what we looked at tonight, or any questions that you have. And I will be around here for a while yet, too. So after the camera is off and people want to ask things, we can do that as well. Thank you very much for the time tonight. And on the website, there'll be the handouts that we gave out tonight, as well as the presentation. Thank you.